Hi guys, in this video we are going to show the two lines intersecting and also find the intersection point. Let's recall that in terms of position of lines in 3 space, the situation is more complicated than it is for plane lines. For example, lines in 3 space could intersect just like in 2D, but they could also be parallel, again, just like in 2D. And not only that, but they can be skew. So skew lines, they lie in parallel planes and their direction vector is not the same. So how do you figure this out? What's going to happen? Well, let me take a look. So let me just isolate this side. Okay, so let's first try to figure out what is the direction vector for each of the lines. So here we have 6 plus t. So that's line number 1, 3 plus 2t, and then we have 4 plus t. That's one line. So, and then the other one, the reason why they're using a different letter is because when we try to solve for that point of intersection, it might not be for the same value of the parameter. So you have to use a different letter. So let's go for y equals 4 plus 3s, and then z equals 8 plus 5s. So instead of s, you could have used t1, t2, but the point is that they're not going to be necessarily at the same value of t. That's why you have to use a different parameter. Okay, so the direction vector of the first line, let's call this L1, and then this line is L2. The direction vector for L1 is 1, 2, 1. So remember, that's the coefficients of the variable t. And then the direction vector for the second line is 1, 3, 5. So to know if these direction vectors are parallel, you can compute the cross product, but that is difficult, or at least more difficult. So you can see whether the cross product is equal to 0, or you can just see if they're proportionate to each other. So you can just divide component by component and see if you get the same thing. So obviously I'm not getting the same thing. So that means that the direction vectors of these two lines are not parallel, which means that these lines are not parallel, and also they could not be the same exact line. Now, that means that these lines could be intersecting or skew. How do I know that? Okay, so now that we know that these two are not going to be parallel, how do we decide? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take the first two equations and make them equal to each other. So let's take 6 plus t equal to 6 plus s. And then the second equation, 3 plus 2t, would be 4 plus 3s. And what we want to do is see, okay, is there going to be a solution? Well, there must be a solution here. In fact, from the first equation, t equals s, right? Because if you subtract 6 from both sides, it's just going to cancel out. Now, if t equals s, let's plug that into the second set of equations. So we got 4 plus 3t, right? And from here, let's subtract 2t from both sides. So we'll get t. And then I'm also going to subtract 4 from both sides. So that means that t equals to negative 1. Okay, so for t equals to negative 1, the x is equal x and the y is equal y. But what about the z's? Are they going to be equal for that value of t? If yes, that's going to mean that the two lines intersect. If no, then they will be skewed. So if I said 4 plus t equals 8 plus 5s, okay, and so we are saying that for t equals negative 1 and s should be also equal to t. So that means that the solutions we get, s is also negative 1 from here. So let's substitute these values into these two equations, well, these two sides, and see if that gives us the same thing. So we've got 4 plus negative 1 equals 8 plus 5 times negative 1. Okay, so here we got 3. And on the other side, we got 3. So that means that, yes, these two lines are going to intersect, because if at this point the two sides were not the same, we will say they're skewed. Okay, so then we know that this happens when t equals negative 1 and also when s equals negative 1. So now all we have to do is plug in negative 1 into either line 1 or line 2. Doesn't matter, it'll give us the same answer. So it looks like that's going to be 5 if I plug in negative 1. This would be 1, and then this would be 3. So I think the point is going to be 5, 1, 3.